So I'm going to talk about something other than YouTube ads for once, and that's actually the digital nomad lifestyle and whether it's conducive to growing a business. There are a ton of ads on Facebook, there are a ton of gurus pushing this nomad lifestyle and basically travel and work. And I'm going to talk about the pros and cons as somebody who's actually lived it and grown a pretty successful agency while living in different countries. So I want to talk about a couple of fundamental laws of the universe. Number one is you need focus to grow a business. You need extreme amounts of focus. You need to work at it pretty much 5 to 6 days a week, 8 to 10 hours a day, and just consistently put in the work if you want to grow the business and get it off the ground. Now, once you have employees, you can work a bit less, but when you're starting out and you're just by yourself, you absolutely have to put the work in, and that's just an iron law, right? You may be able to work less if you, let's say, run an Amazon business. That's usually more time up front and it's more capital intensive. But if you're trying to basically sell services, if you're trying to do an info product, you're going to have to put a ton of work in. So that's the first iron law. The second iron law is that you can really focus well when you have a stable environment. The more your environment is unstable, the less work you're able to actually get done. So this is fine if you're working, a job and you can travel while working the job. So you can, because you don't need that level of focus. You can, put in your 9 to 5 while still traveling, and it'll work out well for you. However, while growing a business, that's extremely difficult. So does that mean you can't be a digital nomad? No. What it does mean is you have to be aware of these limitations and you have to figure out the best compromise for you. So obviously the ideal way to really become successful and make a ton of money is be in a location for one spot, have your life set up completely, and just have everything optimized, right? Like have a cook, have a cleaner, have everything possible so you're just able to put in tons of focus and so on. However, obviously that can get a little boring. So what I kind of like doing is living in one spot for longer periods of times, and then traveling to other places on short weekend trips or for a week or for New Year's or whatever. So what I did is me and my friend Ryan, we stayed in Medellin for 1.5 years, and we basically both 10x or 20x our businesses during that period. And the reason for that is we had a good routine, we had a good co-working space, and even if we moved to different apartments, our life was pretty well set up because we just knew the town so well, so we could just optimize our routine to have consistent productivity. And this also allowed us to travel around Colombia. I took trips to Brazil, and it did allow me a level of freedom because we would do these short weekend trips a lot of times to just basically have some fun, and we had really great weekends as well. So we had a really great work-life balance, but we were there for 1.5 years and we were in a new culture, and that really allowed us to have a lot of fun and experience the travel side of things while also giving us the stability to grow a business. After 1.5 years of living there, we decided to move to Kiev, Ukraine, and we're here for 3 or 4 months. And after that, I'll probably go to Brazil. But I'm still trying to stick to that principle of if I'm trying to get work done, I want to stay in a place for 3 to 4 months. And that allows for me to settle into a good routine after a couple of weeks of being there. Because if you're always moving every single month, what happens is you're going to take 2 or 3 weeks to establish a good routine. And then if you just leave, you just wasted that effort. And you're always going to be in this weird place of just establishing new routines and then losing it. So yeah, I would definitely recommend thinking about that. I like this idea of having a home base and traveling around and then switching that home base maybe every 6 months if you're just starting out, maybe every 3 months if you've got a business that's already running and you want to experience a bit more of fun. And then obviously if your business is set up and automated, then yeah, you can just travel like crazy. But that's kind of what I've experienced. Now the second thing I want to talk about is the right environment. So I actually think that places like Medellin or Kiev or these other digital nomad hubs like Lisbon, Portugal are great places to go because you have a ton of other entrepreneurs who are doing the same thing as you. In Medellin, there were a lot of people who were way ahead of me that I learned from and that taught me. Medellin is a hotspot of digital entrepreneurs. It's also a fun city where you can, basically have a really great social life. You can go to the mountains on the weekend. You can go to the beach. It's a short flight away. So you're able to balance both fun and work in a really great way. So, and the other factor as well is that Medellin is cheap to live in. The cost of living is really important when you're trying to grow a business, because the more money you keep in your business, the faster it grows. The less you pay yourself, the faster your business grows. So if you're in, San Francisco and you're trying to, start something in digital marketing, it's going to be really tough to do, because that environment is much more of an environment if you're trying to raise venture capital and get venture funding and make it big and hit a unicorn. However, in our industry, in the digital marketing industry, a lot of these people are usually in these different hubs, such as Medellin, Colombia, or Chiang Mai if you're into SEO, or even San Diego, which is really popular for online marketers. So that's also something to keep in mind, is what's the environment like in that place, and does that place allow me a standard of living that I'm happy with at a lower cost of living, which allows you to basically learn more. One common objection I get is, hey, all the smart people are in the States because that's where the money is. I completely disagree. In Medellin, every other foreigner that you meet in a certain area, like around Poblado, there's a 70% chance they're doing something online. So I've literally met people who run businesses that are way bigger than mine, and I would never meet those people in Toronto because it's just so much harder to. But over there, if you meet another gringo, they're probably running an online business. So it allows for that basically mixing of ideas, as well as people helping you, you helping them. We see some crazy results. Like in Medellin, I personally 20x my business. My friend Louis, I think he's 6x or 7x his revenue in like 9 months living in Medellin, just being around a certain environment. So that's something I would really recommend looking into. I heard Chiang Mai is great, but it's more for beginners. So, I don't know if I can speak to that, but I would definitely look at other cities like Lisbon. So yeah, guys, hopefully this video was useful. In summary, don't get seduced by this whole like travel and make money thing, because like you can do it, but you got to stay in one spot for 3 to 6 months. You can't do it if you're going to a new city every 2 to 4 weeks. Go get yourself into one city, meet a bunch of local entrepreneurs there, and get to work and stay there for a while, because you're not going to get anything done if you're going to a new city every month. That's for if you've already established a business and you're working 3 hours a day or 1 hour a day. I have friends like my friends Sunil and Eduardo, where all they do is just travel around, because their businesses are completely automated and they work 1 to 2 hours a week, and they're extremely, basically flexible with what they can do. So really important to keep that while you're in this grind phase. And yeah, guys, if you like this video, comment below and let me know if you want more of this kind of content.